Hello and welcome to this special program that is being presented to you by the Baltimore and Columbia Energy Healers Meetup Group. We are a group of 1,700 plus energy practitioners and people simply interested in holistic health. And you can find more about us at meetup.com/healers. This program is a special program on shamanism for modern times. Our guide for this event is Kelly Neylan. I'm going to go to her written bio because there is a whole lot of information here, and there's words that I could never remember. Kelly has been, she is the owner and the longtime practitioner in an array of different methods. Kelly is the owner of Lasting Light Wellness, which she established in 2002. She is, and I'm not even going to try to say this word, she is a shaman, and there's a word that goes in front of that. And that translates to keeper of the earth in the Quiera tribe of Peru, where she is known as Munay Anka, and that translates to beautiful eagle, and that is very much an apt description. She has a degree from the the Anka Shamanism group in Peru. Again, one of those words I can't even begin to pronounce. In addition to being a shaman, she is a Reiki master in an array of different methods: Usui, Holy Fire, Karuna, Celtic, Karuna Ki, and a whole bunch more. She is the adept. She is an adaptee, an adept through the modern mystery school. She is a foot and hand and ear integrative reflexologist, a chakra healer, crystal healer, energetic well-being process practitioner, advanced level proficiency, and just a whole lot more. She is a business coach, and she knows, she walks her truth because she's been a successful business owner in the holistic field for 18 years and counting, and that is no small accomplishment. So with that, I'm going to turn the floor over to Kelly Neylan. Kelly, if I missed anything, please feel free to add it. And I will be monitoring chat, so if there's anything anyone who is on the call would like to share, go ahead and do that in the chat. If you're watching this video on YouTube, there will be information linked up in the area below the YouTube about the meetup group, about Kelly's organization, Lasting Light Wellness, and information about how you can participate. There's an opportunity if this is something that you would like to learn yourself. There will be an opportunity for you, excuse me, for you to do that. So with that, Kelly, I'm going to turn the floor over to you, and there you are.
Okay, so we're ready to share screen. Okay, here we go, full screen. Yay. So thank you, everybody. As Steve so nicely introduced me, I'm Kelly Neylan, and I'm the word that probably was tripping him up was a Pampa Messiah Ook. So that is, as he had said, a shaman that's of the earth-keeping type. And I was really blessed with being able to go to Peru over several years and study with a bunch of the top shamans there. And this was just such an incredible experience for me. And I'm just going to share with you a little bit about Peruvian shamanism and just give you some terms and let you experience a little bit of different things. So just in case, even though Steve gave a great introduction, here are just some of the things that we do here at Lasting Light Wellness. So these are some of the modalities that we practice in, and we do, as Steve said, do 8 types of Reiki, shamanism, reflexology, aromatherapy, yoga, past life regression, intuitive services, and life coaching. Before I came into my life being an energy healer, I had what I would call a pretty regular life. I actually was a stockbroker and a college professor, and like a lot of you probably, I ended up having a major health healing crisis. And I did all of the traditional things you're supposed to do. I'm a type A person. I bought the dummies book. Went to the top doctors. I did whatever you were supposed to do. And when I wasn't able to find healing for myself, I started looking into alternative methods. And that led me into yoga and into Reiki and into all the other practices that I came to. And when I was able to heal myself, it was just such a wonderful blessing that I ended up quitting my corner office 6-figure job, and I started doing this almost 20 years ago. People did think I was completely certifiable at the time, but it's been the most wonderful thing that's honestly ever happened to me, and such a blessing to be able to share, helping people transform and through their transformations. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit more today about my shamanic path. So here's some pictures of me in Peru with some of my top shaman teachers. And one of the things that I really liked about the Peruvian lineage, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the history of it because you may or may not be familiar with it. Well, they were living around the time of the Inca when the Spanish conquistadors came in. And at this time, the Q'ero tribe fled. Some of them fled into the jungles, and those are the ones you hear about working with plant medicine these days. And the ones that I mostly studied with all fled really high into the Andes Mountains. And they went there and they stayed there based on prophecy for over 500 years. So they were living like the 1600s, no running water, very high altitudes, living primarily on less than 3 major food sources, and living a pretty hard life. But they were told to keep this information pure until the ice caps there in the Andes started to melt. And this didn't happen until the mid to late 1980s. So they were left relatively alone. I think one person came across them in 1959. But it took 5 days to travel there from Cusco. So they weren't interrupted at all, and their beliefs were able to be kept at this extremely pure state. So, and they actually speak the language of Quechua. They don't even they speak the Incan language. They don't even speak Spanish. So it's a really interesting opportunity that I had to get to learn from the elders of the tribe. I know when I got introduced to them, I just was so excited and I wanted to go learn. And my husband was like, "Can't you wait until the kids are older?" I'm like, "They're dying," because guess what? Now that they have been introduced and opened up to the West, and that they're going and they're teaching, there are things going on here that their children are, once they discover there's iPhones and running water and indoor plumbing and things like that, they're only 1 in 5 children are staying. So their tribe has gone from about 8,000 people to 5,000 people to 4,000 people. Their way of life currently, the way they live, may only be around for another 20 years or so. So the tradition of passing on shamanism is really important right now to keep this tradition alive, because their way of life is greatly changed as they have been introduced to the modern life and what have you in the town of Cusco, which is what they're closest to. So here's a picture of me on the one side with Don Mariano and Don Claudio from the Serena and Chanchu School of Inca Shamanism, where I studied in Peru while they still had the Peruvian one running right now. Right now they're only working in Europe. And there's another picture of me on the other side with Don Teo. Some of you may have seen him. He does a lot of appearances on TV. So he also works with the jungle shamans throughout Peru too. So that's how I got introduced and did my top shamanic training beyond what I did in the States. So just to tell you a little bit about shamanism, because some people have some misconceptions about it. So shamanism isn't a religion. It's an ancient form of spirituality and healing. So we have found evidence of this running back over 100,000 years in Paleolithic ruins. We've also seen it in caves that are 37,000 years old in France. And the word itself for shaman comes from the Tungus tribe in Siberia, and it means spiritual healer or one who sees in the dark. So a shaman is one that interacts with healing spirits in order to address the energetic and the spiritual sides of illness. And this is a quote I really like from Michael Harner. And here he says that the shaman's work is very practical. It's not new age, it's not mysterious. It's a long time-tested system that's been using the mind known to humanity. So in his regard, he believes that psychotherapy and modern medicine is what's really new age, because he said this is Stone Age. This has been around. This has been tested through time. When life was really hard back in the day, when man was subsistent living, he would not have spent the time or energy to continue to do a practice that did not yield results for them. People would have stopped using it long ago if it didn't work. So this is one of the reasons we know it does work. I want to answer a little bit about what a shaman does. Because when I tell people I'm a shaman, I get a lot of strange looks. So some of the things I do is, as I create sacred ceremonies, I do a lot of journeying, which we're going to do an example of that today on this recording. I do a variety of different types of ceremonies. Some of them are for the community. Some of them are for individuals. I reconnect people to lost aspects of themselves. I do soul retrievals. I help people transition to new phases of life. I help remove any troubling or attached energy. I also do ceremonies for things like abundance or to balance their chakras. There's different special ways that shamans balance chakras versus, say, the way a Reiki master would do it. I help keep the community in harmony. So particularly my type of shaman, the Papa Messiah Uk, it concentrates on community harmony. And if you've ever turned on the news lately, you know the earth needs more shamans now. So I am recruiting because we definitely need more, because we need to try to keep things in better balance. So in shamanism, we believe that everything that exists is alive and has spirit. So energetic cords connect all of life. And when I've been in various types of journeying and shamanic states, I've actually been able to see the light cords that connect all of us. They look like lit up pieces of string that literally connect all humans. So we're not separate. And any belief that we are separate is simply an illusion. So the shaman's role is to keep everything in the community and natural forces in order. So what I do for clients is a lot of times they come to me with problems or they're stuck. They need to get from point A to point B in their lives, and I help them with this transition. Sometimes they're looking for love. Sometimes they're looking for abundance or careers. Sometimes they honestly just need to find themselves. I have other times they need to work on the creativity and the spark in their life or the motivation. Other people have very deep-seated traumas and emotional blocks that they need to overcome. Some of them also have physical issues going on in their body, or they may have phobias that they need to overcome, or they may even have an energetic attachment that needs to be removed. Some shamanic practices are journeying, which we are going to practice today. So in journeying, we move into spiritual realms, into a trance state, and we have spiritual experiences. Creating harmony with the spiritual energies, nature, as well as animal and animal spirits is another shamanic practice. We also work on divinations or revelations or intuitive work. We use a lot of sacred objects, a lot of rattles, drums, and other things, crystals we like using. We create rites of passage for different times that you're going through in your life, coming of age, ceremonies and rituals, which is something that unless you're of a certain religious background, we've really lost a lot in this society. We have very few rituals left to help people transition from one phase of life to another, and that's really missing. And we also perform the technique of healing as well as empowerment. I'm going to talk a little bit about the shamanic views of illness. So from a shamanic perspective, illness comes from three main sources. One is a loss of power. So it's different for each person, which may cause this. It may be a depression or a chronic illness or a series of misfortunes. And for working on that particular problem, you would go into a journey to restore lost power. The second would be a loss of essence or soul splintering. So this can be a little bit more substantial. It could be an accident, a surgery, abuse, disaster, a divorce, or a death. So splintering can cause a person to disassociate and have some mental or emotional issues. It can also lower your immune system, and it can also be in a specific physical location. There's also soul retrieval ceremony of integration. And that one you may have heard about. I personally don't like the term soul retrieval because for me, soul retrieval kind of is like, oops, I was going to Target and I lost a piece of my soul. Or what it really is that you've had some kind of trauma and that piece of your soul has just kind of moved away from the other pieces. It's not that you've really lost it. And the third one is negative energy or a spiritual blockage. And that's one that a client has, which usually results in a loss of power, and it's usually in a specific physical location. And then for that one, I would do a removal ceremony. So I'm going to talk a little bit about shamanism versus a different medical model. So shamanism consists of curing, or I should say curing consists of medically treating disease and eliminating symptoms. And we all know people who have received cures but have not experienced healing. When this happens, symptoms generally return. Energy healing addresses the cause of the disease, generally a trauma, and the resulting toxic emotions that separate us from joy and health. Self-healing happens when we clear the energetic matrix that envelops and informs our lives. While medical curing eliminates symptoms, shamanic healing enhances the body's own healing response and focuses on accessing an ongoing state of well-being and perfect health. And that was from another fellow shaman, and I really like the way that he said that. So why go to a shaman? Generally feeling being disconnected or things aren't properly flowing. A lot of times in our lives, we just know that something isn't right. We might not know how to fix it, but we know that there's something going on that isn't quite right. We may know that there's been a loss of power. Chakra balancing also, if you're in tune with your chakras and your body energy, you may notice that there's something going on there. And if you need help getting those balanced, we can help you. There's also some people who know that there's an attachment. And by that, I mean like a spirit or an energetic attachment. You may just simply need some answers. You may need help clarifying. You may need to be taken to the Council of Elders to help through a journey, get some specific questions for yourself. Or you may need a life transformational ceremony. So during these sessions, I'm going to remove any energetic disturbances from your luminous energy field. I'm going to bring you back into a template of health and help your body return into its own natural flow. So why I love shamanism? So I was always searching. I wanted to know the secrets. I felt like I would always go over the years to various different conferences and workshops, and I always feel like somebody else knew something a little bit more special, a little bit more detailed. I wanted to know what the secrets were. Maybe you're like me too, very curious. And I love to help people transform. And what I love about shamanism is that it's through direct revelation. Unlike some other types of energy healing practices that I've studied, this one actually encourages you to be curious, and it encourages you to make it your own. And I really liked that approach. They always said, and my teachers always told me, that if someone ever tells you there's only one way to accomplish something energetically, go and run in the other direction. And I've always taken that advice. So I'm going to teach you a couple of Quechua words just to introduce you a little bit to what we call words that consist of the Andean cosmology. And we're going to talk about 3 different worlds. In these worlds, there's 3 different worlds, but I don't want you to get confused with like the Christian background of heaven and hell and things like that. There are 3 worlds and there are some similarities, but they're completely different. So the upper world in Quechua is called the Hunan Pacha. So this is the realm where the angels and the higher spirits, and if you believe in a higher power, that would be residing there. The middle world, that's where you're sitting here today. This is the Kai Pacha. The Kai Pacha is our current three-dimensional world, and there's spirits there. And then there's the lower world, the Uka Pacha. And this exists below the Kai Pacha, and this is the place where the shamans do a lot of their work. This is where I go to meet my power animals. This is where I go to do my soul retrievals, go see my shaman tree. So for us, the lower world isn't anything negative. It's not like hell or anything like that. It's just a different dimension, and it's a dimension in which shamans do a lot of their work. Some other energy terms I want to introduce you to, first is the Kaosai Pacha, and this is our light energy bubble, so that whole energy bubble that contains all of us. And this has two types of energy in there, or the word is made up of two. Kaosai means life force energy, and Pacha means ground. So people have two energies that make up the Kaosai. One is Sami energy, or the Sami light, and two is Hucha, heavy energy. And that's only found in humans, or I hate to break it to you, but your furry four-legged friends may have picked up a little bit of yours. So only humans or pets that are really close to people. Something that's really interesting too is that the Hucha energy would be described by the Karo shamans as being less good. One of the things that I learned when I was studying with them that I found really fascinating was that they don't have words in their language for like evil and bad. They just say, oh, well, that's less good. Just take a pause there, or maybe 5, and think about how your brain would work and how the words coming out of your mouth and the energy that would be changed if you didn't have any words that you were speaking that were negative. Yeah, let that set in. Check your Facebook posts and see how many of them would have continued. So that is something also that there's just so much to the language too, of the Quechua language, that talks in terms of energy and talks in terms of positive things. So all of these things together make up your luminous light body, or the body and the threads that connect all of us together. There are 7 main sources of power for shamans, and I teach all of these different methods. So shamans are connected to all of these sources. The first one is the sun, or fire. So we do a lot of fire ceremonies. I got to break in some new neighbors this year on both sides, so it's been fun. I do a lot of fire ceremonies where I'm burning things and I'm drumming around my backyard. I've entertained a lot of the new children in the neighborhood too, wondering what that woman is doing out there. So I do a lot of fire ceremonies in my backyard, in my house, just connecting and releasing things. Probably would have been a great idea to do it over this past weekend with all the moon energy that we had going on. We are connected to the earth energy directly, and we do a lot of work with that. Also, the elements of the wind and the air, as well as the water, which helps purify and move. Animals, both living animals as well as spirit animals. Plants, yes, there are power plants. And stones, which the Quechua word is cuyas for. So we work a lot with crystals and stones as well. The 4 directions. So the Peruvian lineage doesn't use a physical wheel like U.S. Native Americans. They don't draw it into the ground, but we talk it and we call it in. So the directions that there are is the south, which is the way of the healer, or in the past, in the serpent energy. It's represented by a serpent or a snake. The west is the way of the warrior, in which you move beyond limitations, and the jaguar is the representation there. So that's all about any time in your life you want to get past something, you would do a journey to the west direction. When you want to look at the north, it's the way of the seer, the teacher, time, and hummingbird. So if you need to get something done fast, you need to be educated in something, you would do a journey to the northern direction. Then the east is the way of the visionary, and that's the way to see into other realms, into the condor eagle direction. So you're looking at being able to see things from the 10,000-foot view rather than from the micro view. And then also, in addition to the 4 directions, which we always say the 4 directions, but there's actually 6, because we also do above and below when we call them in also. But another sacred item for the Peruvians is the Apus, or the mountains, and they're considered a great place of power and connection. They've been preyed upon, and they're viewed as living spiritual entities. And when you go to Peru and you can just be in some of their presence in places that have been preyed upon for so long, that the energy is just completely palpable. You can completely see that. So that has, it's just incredible. If you ever have the opportunity to go, I highly encourage you to be able to experience that for yourself, because I know when I was there, I just actually wish that I could have bottled up the feeling that you get. It's just, it's the calmness that comes over you, and you just sit there and breathe it in. I wanted to take a bottle and just take it and bring it back to Colombia, but that's not possible. So why study shamanism? So shamanism is an incredibly deeply transformational and majestic practice, and it just helps you be more connected. I think so many of us today are looking for a deeper connection that we haven't been able to get, and we need more guidance. And if your instincts have led you here, it's just really interesting how I can end up connecting with people. Then you can feel free to speak with me about some more things. I want to show you one student's comment and reflection on shamanism. It's kind of a long write-up that she did, but basically she was talking about how it gives you the tools to become in what's called Anyi, which means proper relation with right thought and right action. And interacting with alternate realities and spirits allows one to see the world and their relationships from another perspective. So becoming a practitioner of shamanism moves you from thinking small to thinking big, and it helps you heal old wounds and helps you move into the right direction with yourself as well as the world around you. So when you start thinking in terms of energy and your perspective, it changes you as an individual. So this was just some of her comments about what studying shamanism brought to her life, and I thought it was a really nice comment on someone's individual perspective on that. So we're going to talk a little bit about what a shamanic journey is. So when you do a shamanic journey, you're simply entering an altered state of consciousness through trance or meditation. You can use different vehicles. We're going to use the legal ones here. So we're going to use a drum beat, and it beats 4 to 7 beats per minute so that your brain will start to synchronize. And the brain moves into the theta zone after a few minutes. Now we're going to do a really short one, and you may or may not be in a place in your house right now or wherever you're listening to this from where you can lay down, put on an eye cover, and really get into this. But if you were to do this with me personally or through the class, it's in a situation that helps facilitate this more, because normally you'd be wanting to listen to the drum beats for maybe 10 minutes, then we would move into the meditation. But for the sake of this experience, we're going to go a little bit faster. But allowing your brain waves to change into that theta zone allows you to shift your consciousness. And while in this state, it allows you to travel outside of what we call non-ordinary reality. And that's where shamans produce their work. They do it in an alternate dimension. And they use this for solving problems, finding healing, or accomplishing something like I had discussed before. We may travel to the Counselor of Elders. We may connect you with your guides. We may meet your spirit animals. We do different kinds of work in the 3 dimensions that I had mentioned earlier. So when you do a shamanic journey, you're going to decide on what your goal is, what you want to do. You need to have a very clear intention, and you need to decide what your vehicle is going to be. I know other people in other countries and other places are using other substances and things, but you can get there just as wonderfully and just as fast and just as legal using drumming or rattling. So we're going to allow the drum to go to work and figure out where you need to solve the problem. And depending on how much time, normally if you're doing it by yourself, most drumming tracks that you would listen to have what's called a callback at the end, which is going to be like a boom, 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 boom. And that lets you know it's time to come back to the room, try to come back to reality. And that's when you write down everything that happens. So first we're going to do a little bit of an imagination exercise, just because I've been talking about a lot of things and I want you to change up your perspective on things and your mindset where you are. So go ahead, and I want everybody, wherever you are, to close your eyes. Yes, close them now. And I want you to imagine that you have an apple in your hand. And then what I'd like you to do is gently open up your eyes. And then you can let me know later what color your apple was. Now we're calling in the 4 directions, because this is something that we do shamanically. And there's actually 6 that I'd mentioned before, because there's above and below. But the first thing I want you to picture, or practice I should say, is a little bit of Quechua. So from wherever you are, the word we're going to say at the end of each of the directions that we do is hi-ya-ya. So I'd like you to practice this with me. Little rattling. Just picture it. Go hi-ya-ya. So wherever you are, that's good. When we go to each of the directions, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you the direction. We're going to rattle. I'm also going to spray a little bit of Florida water here. In Peru, they generally just chug the bottle and they spit it, but I find the American people don't so much like being spat at. So we go with the nice little spray and the hi-ya-ya. So before we start our shamanic journey, which we're going to do in a few moments, we're going to create the sacred space. That's one of the traditions that you do in shamanic work, is that you always create a sacred space in each of the directions. So first we're going to go to the east. I'm just going to stay stationary since we're being videoed, but if you, wherever you're listening to this presentation from, can face the east direction, you can go ahead and face that. So spirits of the east, come and heal what our soul has already healed. Power of the condor eagle spirit, come. Help us to see the brightest and the clearest vision. Get ready for the hi-ya-ya. Hi-ya-ya. Spirits of the south, come and heal what our soul has already healed. Pachamama, wrap your coils of light around us to be able to shed our skin and let go of the past. Hi-ya-ya. Spirits of the west, come and heal what our soul has already healed. Sacred jaguar, share with us your wonderful wisdom and strength. Hi-ya-ya. Oops. Spirits of the north, come and heal what our soul has already healed. Sacred hummingbird, show us the nectar and the beautiful flowers of our lives. Hi-ya-ya. Now, Pachamama. So if you're near the floor, you want to put your hands to the floor, or your palms pressing down towards the direction of the earth, do that. Pachamama, mother, come and heal what our soul has already healed. Give us the strength and ground us. Hi-ya-ya. From above, so bring your hands up to the sky, heavens from above, Father, Sun, Mother, Moon, and the countless stars in the sky, what we call the Chakanas. Illuminate us with your light. Spirits of the Apus, the mountains, Asantakai, Salkantai, Mount Mitchell, Mount Washington, bless us with your sacred power. Hi-ya-ya. And then our hearts, bring your hands to your heart. Our hearts come and heal what our soul has already healed. With your beauty, we reawake. Hi-ya-ya. Excellent. So next, what I'd like you to do is you might want to get yourself a little bit comfortable. I'm going to set up some music for us, and we're actually going to be taking ourselves shortly through a journey. But if you want to start to get yourself into position, if you're in a place where you can lay down or make yourself more comfortable or turn down the lights and put away the distractions, go ahead and do that. So for the sake of this journey, we're going to be doing a middle world journey, and that's in the Kai Pacha. This is the land where we're living right now in this very moment. And we're going to connect with the mountains and the Apus. So we're going to create a door. So for the sake of this, you're going to come in and out of the same door that you're going to step through, which is going to be your literal front door of your house. So you're very familiar with it. When we step out into that door, you're going to be in Mount Mitchell in Burnsville, North Carolina, which if you're in the eastern part, that's our highest mountain we have closest to us. If you're listening to us from somewhere else, you can still go to Mount Mitchell with us. So we're going to find a safe place to sit down, and we're going to go and take in the view. And I'm going to talk you through this as we go through it, but I just want to let you know where we're headed. So when we get there, we're eventually going to go and find a fire pit, and we're going to look around, and we're going to call in our spirit guides. And we're going to ask the guides to give us something in return when we give them something that's no longer serving us. So we're going to release something today. And we're going to ask for a gift in return. And then we're going to continue talking with our guide until it's time to come back. And when I tell you it's time to come back, you're going to go journey back and find your front door, and you're going to enter through it. So when we start with the journey, what we're going to do is we're simply just going to listen to the drum beat for several minutes, just trying to clear our mind. So there's nothing you have to do at that time. I just want to let you know where it's going. And I'm going to start playing some drums, and I'd like you to just find your spot. Just go relax for a few minutes and tune into the drum beat. Nothing but just take in the drums. Go ahead and step out through your front door and go ahead and head to Mount Mitchell in Burnsville, North Carolina. Go ahead and find a safe place in a clearing. Look for it. You'll see a fire and a fire pit, and go to the fire pit. Go ahead and sit down and wait for your spirit guide to come. Call out to your spirit guide or guides. And then when they arrive, give them something that's no longer serving you and ask for a gift in return. finish up working with your guide, you can talk to him for another moment or two. So I want you now to make your way back down the mountain and start heading back through the door that you came in on. And enter back through your front door. Come back into the room and bring yourself back. So hopefully you might have been able to connect a little bit with your spirit guide, but if you weren't, don't worry. When you're in a proper environment and you're able to do the full 10 minutes before we get in there, your brain waves would have more of a chance to get into the journey. I haven't had anybody that's quote unquote failed a journey before, but you may not have been in the best environment at the present moment to do it or not. But that just gives you a little bit of an example of being able to connect in with a guide or get information. And one of the main things that I work with people, either in person through my sessions, or if they want to take the class and be trained, is how to get in and get out. So you can get in and do a journey for whatever you need to work on right then and there. So I help people with solutions. I help them transform through Reiki as well as through shamanism. And these are soul level transformations. These aren't just treating symptoms. So I like to let you know, of course, that you have choices too. Just imagine being able to make changes in your life so you've brought yourself to a place of real peace and calmness, and that you've taken the big steps to be able to transform your past issues, trauma, past life issues, family issues, and just to release your energy blocks so you can be successful and happy in your life. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what the training is and who is interested in shamanic training. So if you're tired of having to rely on other people for intuitive information, you don't have to call anybody and get readings for anybody, so you can do this for yourself. You're ready to have a more direct connection with spirit because you want to be connected, and you're ready to take action, and you're really seeking that transformation and releasing of past baggage. And you want tools that are going to last you a lifetime. They're not just going to last for a month or two. So people that are ready to release the wounds of the past, you want to learn how to create and wield sacred objects. So you're taught what to do for drumming and for rattling. And I also like to mention the Peruvians are what we call heavy packers here. If you can see, this is called a Peruvian mesa. So this is what you'll be creating if you decide to take shamanic training with me. And in that training, we actually go to each of the 4 directions. And in each of those directions, we get rid of your wounds. And not only do we get rid of them, but we use rocks and crystals and other things to actually take your wounds and transform them into powerful healing tools, which are placed into your mesa. So we take what was once a problem and we make it a source of power for you. So we also help you in this training connect and work with your power animals, power plants, crystals, and other objects, and just help you move beyond your limitations. And if you want to learn how to do a lot of really fun and interesting sacred ceremonies for transformation, those are included as well. So you learn how to work with both community as well as individuals, just how to be fully present in your life. If you get rid of a lot of your baggage and wounds, imagine the connections you can have in your day-to-day life when you release those traumas and those ways of acting and thinking. And it just helps take your healing abilities to the next level. So I work with a lot of people who work in other healing modalities already, but they're ready to up level at this time. And they want to create, like I showed you earlier, the Mesa Energy Healing Bundle. So what we have coming up here for the Shamanism 101 class, which I like to call Unleash Your Inner Shaman, is it starts on March 28th. And for attending this or listening to this program, I am offering $150 off the class by using code SHAMAN. And the class is normally $14.99, but with the coupon, it's only $13.49. And for this class, it's not just a one day. This is 4 full days, 32 hours of training that's provided. So it's a very detailed training class, which you will learn to become a proficient journeyer, and you will be able to call yourself a shaman at the end of the class. Coming in 2021, next year, we will also be offering some online options as well for the class, and you can sign up on our website, lastinglightwellness.com. So the series is going to run from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on these dates, March 28th, April 25th, May 2nd, and June 6th, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The online series will be next year. There's the website address that you can sign up with, although there is a little typo there. It should be 2 L's, wellness.com. And it'll be under the classes tab that you can either put a deposit of $350 on the class, or you can pay for the full class. So I just like to say, think about where you are in your life now and where you want to go. Do you really want to wait for some more time to pass? You don't want to be in the same place now that you are next year if you're looking for change in your life. Things aren't just going to magically change on your own. You actually, have to do something about it. So if you're wondering like what your new life's going to look like once you've gotten rid of all these things, I always say that's a really good problem to have. Don't worry if you think you have too much to heal. We've seen huge amounts of baggage being able to be released through these types of ceremonies and through the program. So you don't have to be fearful that you're not going to be good at it. I've been able to teach and train everybody who wanted to learn how to journey. There isn't a special gene or skill. So it's open to everybody. And I know you probably want to learn the secrets like I wanted to learn the secrets. And that way next year will be different than this year, or even just later this year. And I just want to help you get unstuck and unleash your shaman within. Other deals and classes we have going on, as you might know, we teach several different types of Reiki. Below are listed the Reiki 1 classes that we have coming up. We also have set level 2, level 3 master, and Karuna, and a bunch of other classes. And because you guys participated today, if you would like to work with me in the future, I am offering a new client special of $85. It's normally $99 for a new client. And I'm also offering free essential oil evaluations for wellness. So you can contact us and the information I'll provide in another slide. If you'd like to set up an appointment, you can text us or email us for that. These are the type of shamanic ceremonies that we offer. So many different kinds, everything from chakra balancing to soul retrievals. And here's the information about how you can contact us. So we're available on all the major social media platforms, and you can feel free to call or text us. That is our cell phone there if you would like to set up an appointment or if you have questions about the class. And now I'm going to open the floor if Steve wants to come back if he wants to, and we'll take some questions and answers from you guys on Andean Shamanism. So thank you so much for listening today.
Excellent. Thank you. Wow. We are right a little bit after 8, so if you have to go, feel free. There will be a video replay of this, and there was so much great information. I know I will be watching. Of course, I will be editing and putting this up on YouTube, so I will be watching it several times. If you have a question, ask the question. If you have something that you would like to share about the experience, and please keep it brief. If there was something profound that you'd like to share or an observation, go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go down. I'm going to ask first 00.
Hello there.
Hi.
Hi.
I have the herb from Peru. I was in Machu Picchu and Ollantaytambo and Sacsayhuaman. So I lit up my incense from Peru.
Oh, nice.
And I had an interesting experience because I've just ended my alimony that was very diluted. And so during this meditation or journey, I cut a cord and released the money and the resentment. I've had to do this a few times, though I ended up with independence and freedom. And I was like just sort of standing with my arms up to the sky. So it was a good feeling of release.
Very powerful.
Excellent. Any question for Kelly?
Well, one, I need her phone number. Being on the phone, we don't.
Oh, you can see. It's 410-446-2544, or our website is emails info@lastinglightwellness.com, or the website's lastinglightwellness.com.
Okay, very good. Questions, it would essentially be, I want to go back to Peru again, and I may have an opportunity. So at some point, I would like to talk to you about possibly meeting a shaman or certain spiritual places to go there.
Okay. Feel free to contact.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I love talking about Peru anytime.
Okay. Ending in 40. Did I speak with you before?
Yes, it's Loretta.
Okay, Loretta. Any observations or questions?
Yes, I've studied shamanism through the years, so I had a significant journey. Briefly, to describe, without a lot of detail, I had 2 guides appear to me, both coming to me appearing as female. But one, they share with me that one was giving me the female energy and one was giving me the male energy. So there was a lot more detail than that, but it was just kind of interesting how that came, how they both came. Question. I just wanted your thoughts on how you see shamanism being important as it relates to all this vibrational shifting that's happening on the planet right now into the 5th dimension, and the things that are breaking down to enable that to happen.
I think that, one, it helps raise your vibration, because we're all raising, and some of us are doing a better job of it than others, or it's just playing with our energy system, and it's being a lot more difficult. And the other is it's also causing, what I'm sensing from a lot of people, is a lot of confusion out there, so that when you're able to do your own shamanic journeys and able to get your answers, it's less confusing and less scary as we raise in dimension level as well. So I think it's definitely going to be very helpful for people as we start to shift and rise.
Thank you.
Okay, Carol?
Hi, Kelly. Hi, Steve. I just was kind of overwhelmed by the depth of it in some ways. I had some friends years ago who have since passed that were really opened me up to a lot of things, and one of it was different shamans, and I knew it was really powerful, the experiences, but I never really had the time to delve into it and learn like you taught us. And I really enjoyed that, and it really gave me a greater appreciation for what I had experienced then. And in today's journey here, I had a lot of energy releases, tremendously in my head and neck particularly, which have been a problem lately. So I really, 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 really appreciate the opportunity to do this. And the release came in relationship to giving up a situation that I've been dealing with for a while, and I just feel very peaceful, just tremendously, tremendously peaceful.
That's beautiful.
And you had asked us about the color of the apple. I didn't get a clear color. It just kind of, it was like, kind of like something I've never seen before. It was like, the best way to describe it, and this isn't even really accurate, is like a gold yellow, but textured and changing and flowing. So I don't know. I'd be interested in what that means, but it was really to me unique. I've never had anything like that happen
I
before.
like that. It's a magical apple.
Yeah, it was. It really was.
All right. Thank you, Carol. John, any questions?
Yeah, just a quick question for Kelly. In the guided meditation, and I guess the apple thing too. My apple was green, like the light green Granny Smith.
Mhm.
And when I was doing the journey, I didn't know if I was supposed to see a power animal, but it seemed like there was a hummingbird and there was this really deep green warm aura of light. And I didn't know, is it common to see auras of light during the meditations?
Oh, yes. So a lot of people do see them. And then the hummingbird is also a directional, as well as a lot of times that can help you with time and knowing as well, bringing it in. And what color was the aura?
It was like a Christmas ornament green, like that really
Oh,
deep
okay.
warm green.
So a lot of that is probably connected into healing as well.
Gotcha.
With that, so time, healing, and knowing the right time the healing needs to come in and how it needs to come in.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Okay. Shantaya, if I have that
Hello.
correct.
Yes,
Hi.
that's right. Hi. Actually, yeah, I guess I'll just comment on the meditation, or what was it? The journey, or yeah. So, I mean, this is a first experience for me in terms of, doing that through the shaman work. But I felt a sense of relief, like just physical relief, of pain in my body. And so that was really nice. And I actually was looking at your website during, the conference here. And I was wondering, how does one go about choosing a modality to work with you? Because that's the question is, I'm looking at,
To come in for healing.
yeah, because
Usually I call it shaman choice, and people just tell me what they have going on. And
okay.
if they don't have something specific, I just tune in intuitively and I'll pick it for you.
Oh, great. Okay.
No worries. No sweat.
Okay.
I know I have a long list of things that I do, and most people don't
Right.
understand half of them, so it's fine.
Okay. Yeah. So that was all. Thank you. I just had that question.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thanks for sharing.
Okay, thank you, Shantaya. All right, if I've missed anyone, my apologies, but in the interest of time, I'm going to go ahead and ring off. You can contact Kelly. Kelly, you want to give your email address one more time?
It's info at lastinglightwellness.com.
Info at lastinglightwellness.com.
You can email me, or the website's lastinglightwellness.com too.
Okay. There's a theme here, I think. Thanks to each of you who have participated tonight. My experience was really quite amazing on that journey. Thank you, Kelly. And I encourage you to reach out to Kelly if you have any questions that may come to mind after we're done. And if you're watching this video even months or a year or so later, reach out to Kelly, because as you saw, she will be having training and she has opportunities for helping people well beyond 2020 into 2021 and beyond. So I encourage you to reach out, contact Kelly. She is an amazing practitioner. I've known her for years, and she is really a wonderful human being, wonderful individual. So with that, I want to say thank you. There should be a video replay available, hopefully by midweek. And there's also going to be another opportunity for you to experience Kelly's work in person what I've decided, and this is the first time I've ever decided to do this, is to have Kelly back, but have Kelly in a live presentation at her studio. And that will happen in February. So look for a message in your meetup email, whatever email address you use for meetup. And there will be some different experiences, an auric weave. I can't wait to experience that, and a whole bunch of other things. So this is not going to be simply a rehash in total of what you experienced tonight. There will be some fresh new experiences for you, and I would encourage you to attend that event. There'll be details coming out in a few days. So with that,
10th. February 10th.
February 10th. So with that, thank you for everyone who attended. Blessings to you, and vaya con Dios.
Thank you, Steve.